I'm your host, Karen Nelson, and you're listening to Becoming You Again, episode number 72. Welcome to Becoming You Again, the podcast to help with your mental and emotional well-being during and after divorce. This is where you learn to overcome the trauma of your divorce by reconnecting with yourself, creating lasting emotional resilience, and living a truly independent life so your life will be even better than when you were married. I'm your host, Karen Nelson. Welcome back to the podcast. Since this week in America, it's the week of Thanksgiving, I thought that I would do a podcast episode about the power of gratitude. Being thankful is something that we're taught from the time that we're little kids, right? One thing that every little kid learns is to say thank you. When someone gives them a gift or does something for them, please remember to say thank you. Let's write a thank you note. Let's make sure and say thank you, right? And I remember growing up, my parents teaching that we should be thankful for what we have. My parents really worked very hard to provide for us, and we didn't have like an overabundance of things or an overabundance of money when I was growing up. But what we did have was a house that I felt safe in. We always had what we needed. Sometimes we had the things that we wanted that were important to us. And growing up, I always had a sense of sufficiency, that I would always have everything that I needed. And I was taught to be grateful for that. And I think that was a beautiful thing that my parents instilled in me. And I think that when we go through something challenging in our life, like a divorce, it can become really easy to be consumed with that challenge. It can become really easy to think that we are only surrounded by hurt and negativity and spiraling overwhelm. And when we're in those moments, when that is really where most of our focus is, you might have to work a little bit harder to find the goodness in your life. But this is what I really want to teach you with this podcast in general, is that being intentional about where you put your mental focus, it really is important. And that maybe when you're going through something challenging, that's when you need the intentionality in your thoughts the very most. And so using thankfulness and gratitude as a way to kind of ground yourself in the present is a really great way of being intentional with your thoughts. Now, don't get me wrong here. I am not saying that you have to stay constantly in positivity, or you should never feel negative emotion, or you should, if you're going through something hard, you should always just look on the bright side. That is not at all what I'm saying. Because I think when we try and do that with our lives, when we try and put a band-aid of positivity over something that really is negative and really is challenging, that is quickly becoming toxic positivity in our lives. And that is not at all what I want you to be learning or taking from this podcast episode where we're talking about gratitude and we're talking about thankfulness. It's like trying to put a spin on something that is so difficult and you just pretend like you're being positive. It's like I said, it's like putting that band-aid over something that really needs more focus and more attention to create the healing around it. And that's not what we're trying to do when it comes to gratitude and thankfulness. So what I hope that you'll take from this episode is this idea that gratitude is a practice and it's a state of mind that you can get better at. And if you can begin to adopt this practice of gratitude in your life, even if it's only for a few minutes a day or only a few minutes a week, your life will be impacted in such a beautiful way. And it's not really a secret that there is something very powerful about gratitude and about being thankful. This is something that has been taught for thousands of years all over the world, in all religions, all cultures. And before I really jump into you with my top 5 reasons of being grateful, I wanted to share with you a few of my very favorite quotes about gratitude that to me, I think are powerful reminders of the importance of gratitude. And you've probably heard these. If not, write them down, hang them up, whatever you want to do. They bring meaning to my life when I think about gratitude in this way, and I think they're beautiful reminders. But if you have one that you love, I would definitely say hold on to that and remind yourself of it in those moments when you really need it. So Oprah said, "Be thankful for what you have. You'll end up having more. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you will never, ever have enough." I totally agree with that statement. Tecumseh is quoted as saying, "When you arise in the morning, give thanks for the food and for the joy of living. If you see no reason for giving thanks, the fault lies only in yourself." And that's really one of the main things that I teach you guys, is to really be in control of what it is that you actually can control, which is always yourself, your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, right? And I feel like that quote from Tecumseh is really encompassing that whole idea. And this might be my favorite one, and it's by Eckhart Tolle. And he says, "Acknowledging the good that you already have in your life is the foundation for all abundance." And I 100% agree with that statement. Okay, so this is going to be a shorter podcast episode for y'all, but it's okay because it's Thanksgiving week, and I know you're all very busy and you've got a lot on your plate and you're trying to juggle kids and being with family and not being with family and all of the emotions that go along with that, and it's all great. So I want to dive in to my top 5 reasons, and I really want to paint this picture in your mind about the power of gratitude. And so I'm going to share with you my top 5 reasons of why it's important to be grateful. And these are my opinions, okay? These are the reasons that I turn to gratitude in my own life. And I hope that you'll find meaning for yourself in some of these reasons. But maybe you have your own reasons why you like to turn to gratitude and why you like to, find things that you're thankful for. And if that's the case, then totally add those to the list or make up your own list, whatever it is. Anything that I say in the podcast are just my thoughts and my opinions and things that I think might help you. And whatever works for you, take it and run with it. And if it doesn't work, you do not have to adopt it ever. I am not ever going to be the guru who is like, take this and do it, and this is how it needs to be done. No, of course not. You take what works for you, just as I take from my mentors and people who I get inspiration from, the things that they teach that work for me. All right, so that was a little bit of a tangent, but that's okay. So my top 5 reasons why it's important to be grateful. Number 1, gratitude makes you happier. Being grateful, in my opinion, and recognizing what you're grateful for helps you focus on what's positive in your life. When we are consciously opening ourselves up to positive emotion, it is so much easier to create that feeling of happiness for ourselves when we want it most. Number 2, gratitude improves our mental well-being. So because of evolutionary biology, our brains have evolved to be more negative. But it is, in a way, trying to protect us because of this, right? Our brain is always scanning for things that are negative in an effort to keep us alive and in an effort to keep us safe. And so again, when we can use gratitude to intentionally find that opposite effect, to intentionally look for the things on the positive side in our lives, our overall mental well-being benefits from that. Number 3, being grateful helps to improve our relationships. Now, when I'm talking about relationship, I'm talking about our relationship with ourselves, number 1, because I believe that is the most important relationship in our lives, is our relationship with ourselves, and our relationships with other people. Because what gratitude does is it really opens us up to compassion. And it enhances our ability to be compassionate with others and to be compassionate with ourselves. And the more we can show up with compassion when we direct it toward ourselves and when we direct it toward other people, the more full and enriched our relationships will become. Number 4, being grateful opens you up to more abundance in your life. Because when you can recognize all that you have and you feel that abundance, that allows you to create space for more love, more value, more goodness, more openness, and your world and your life literally expands. But without that gratitude, without that thankfulness, you invite more scarcity into your life, which really is the opposite of abundance. And what scarcity does We want it to do the opposite. We want it to open up more abundance. But what it really does is it's like closing the door on expansion. And it keeps you feeling small, and it keeps you staying small. It keeps you stuck, and it keeps you feeling like you and your world is not enough. And number 5, gratitude helps you realign with the present. And I truly believe that being present is the key to conscious thinking. And as you all know, because you've been listening to this podcast for a while, we're on episode number 72. So it's been a while, right? I've been in your ear for a little bit. You've learned some things from me, I hope. And I hope that one of the things that you have taken with you is that your thoughts create your feelings, create your actions, which then creates your experience. And so consciously deciding what you're going to think is in turn going to create the feelings that you want, and it is in turn going to help you live a more full, intentional life through your actions. And focusing on what you are grateful for helps you laser in on what is amazing about your life right now and what you want to create for yourself moving forward. All right, my lovelies. I am so grateful for each of you who listens to this podcast. I truly am. Making this podcast each week is something that I enjoy. It's one of my favorite things that I get to do for you. And I am just so thankful to each of you who comes back and listens and takes from this podcast what you will and really applies it to your life in the way that I hope is serving you and helping you move forward. So happy Thanksgiving, my friends. I love you. I think you're amazing. I hope you have a truly beautiful week, and I will talk to you soon. If you like what you're learning on the podcast and you're ready to create lasting change and results in your life, then you need to be working one-on-one with Karen as your divorce coach. This is where we take everything you're learning in the podcast and 10x it with implementation and weekly coaching, where you start to see change in yourself and your life immediately. To find out more about how to work exclusively with Karen, go to www.karennelsoncoaching.com. That's www.karennelsoncoaching.com. Thanks for listening. If this podcast agreed with you in any way, please take a minute to follow and give it a rating wherever you listen to podcasts. And for more details about how I can help you live an even better life than when you were married, make sure and check out the full show notes by clicking the link in the description.